Well, hello friends, I hope you're having a great day today. It's Tuesday. Now, you had the day off yesterday for July the 4th, so don't get things confused. This is the start of the week now. So let's go ahead and prepare ourselves, gather our faith around us, and get ready for God to do something great in our lives this entire week. Welcome to today's edition of Take 5. Well, hey, this week on Take 5, we're talking about patience again. We're using the subject that we've pulled from Hebrews chapter 6, verse number 12, that says we should not be lazy, but imitate those who through faith and patience inherit the promise. And we've been talking about through faith and patience for quite a few weeks now. We're on the last part of that, dealing with patience, trying to get a little better understanding of that. I've preached a lot of sermons and taught a lot of lessons on patience over the years, and this may be the hardest, the most difficult, in-depth study of patience that I've ever done and ever been a part of. And it's tough, I'm telling you, because you dive on down in there and you see what it actually is. It's not just waiting. It's not just enduring. It's not just bearing up under the load. It's not just going through the test. It's how you do it. That's what patience is. Patience is the adverb to the action. It's how we go through. It's how we bear up under the load. It's how we endure the tests of life. It has everything to do with our attitude and integrity and character. God, absolutely without a doubt, wants us to display traits of the Spirit in every part of our life, even the hard parts, and that's what patience is all about. So we have been playing off of this definitions from patience that says it's the biblical character and attitude and integrity that's displayed in the life of a believer while he waits and endures for the promises of God. And it's the virtue that reinforces, maintains, and supports the believer's Christ-like nature and his faith while he waits during the trying times of life. So we understand that James said the trying of our faith is what produces patience, and then patience sustains faith, so the two have to operate together. But what I need to know is, what does it take to have patience? It can't be just waiting, twiddling my thumbs and sitting around. It can't just be that. What does it take to have patience? And so we're trying to find out what the Bible actually tells us. We learned last week that it requires confidence. When you have confidence, you endure well. This week we're talking about courage. It takes courage to make patience. It takes courage to endure well, because courage is what is necessary to overcome our fears, our frustrations, our anger, and every other emotion that we can come up with and have and display while we go through these trying times. Courage is defined as the resolve to start and finish something in the face of fear, pain, danger, and insurmountable odds. It is also the ability to override fear, frustration, anger, and any other emotion so that we can accomplish our purpose in life for the moment and for the rest of our life. So it's the ability to override those things. Courage doesn't take those things away. Courage doesn't take away fear. It doesn't take away frustration. It doesn't take away anger or any other emotion. It doesn't take those things away. It doesn't take the giants away. It doesn't take the lions and bears away. We found out about David yesterday. It doesn't take those things away. But what it does, it helps us to override that and fulfill our purpose. Today I want to talk with you about Joshua and his search for courage. Joshua is now become the successor for Moses. When you pick up the scripture in Joshua chapter 1, he's become the successor for Moses. And now Joshua is going to lead the children of Israel into the promised land. If you recall, 40 years ago, Joshua and Caleb were ready to go. But the other 10 spies and those other Israelites that didn't look at the land, that other million or so Israelites, they said, no, we can't do it. And they were afraid to go in. Now, 40 years later, Joshua has been appointed by God to be the leader to lead Israel into the promised land finally. I don't know how Joshua has endured the last 40 years with a good attitude, but somehow he managed to. Now he's got to endure this new obstacle, and this is what God tells him. He says, "No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will not forsake you. I will not leave you. Watch what he tells him. Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause this people to inherit the land that I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, being careful to do all the law that Moses my servant commanded you. Don't turn to it from the right hand or to the left, that you may have good success wherever you go. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua was commanded to be strong and courageous. That's something he had to do. That means he had to face his fears, he had to face his frustration, he had to face all of his emotions, he had to face the feelings that he had that had been living for the last 40 years that he had been waiting on this. He had to face all of that now with courage and go in now and take the promised land, and they were going to have to conquer it. It wasn't going to be just a land of bliss and rest when they got there. They were going to have to conquer the land. There were giants in the land that Israel refused to face 40 years ago, and now he's going to have to face the giants and their ancestors when he goes in to take the land. And Joshua is going to have to take courage so that he can endure these battles well. God's command to Joshua while he was waiting and fighting to conquer the land of Canaan was over and over for him to be strong and courageous. And here's the clincher. It took approximately 5 to 7 more years for them to conquer this land. Now, not only had Joshua been waiting 40 years for the beginning of his promise, now he ends up having to endure 5 to 7 more years of fighting and battling each and every day. Joshua had to get up and take courage, face his fears, face his frustration, face all of his emotions while he was waiting for the promise of God to become a reality. So please don't think that we're the only people in the world that's ever needed courage. Every person in Scripture that you read about that did something great for God, that had a promise that they pushed through and saw it become a reality, had to take courage. Listen, friend, I don't know what you're facing today. I don't know what's in front of you. I don't know what God has in store for you. But I know this. There are going to be many obstacles. There are going to be many adversaries. There are going to be many devils. There are going to be many haters. There are going to be many fears and frustrations and all sorts of emotions that will do their best to keep you from getting there. And the only way that you will endure all of these things well is to take courage and face them and let courage override your emotions. And when you do that, you will get to the promise that God has in store for you. Well, hey, I got to get out of here. We talked about David and Joshua. We're going to talk about Paul tomorrow, Lord willing. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Wednesday's edition of Take 5. Until then, God bless you. Have a great day. Take courage, my friend. Do not be afraid. God has something great in store for you.